Father over us as his kids. And we're going to sing it this morning if that's okay. And this is a blessing over you and your family and your children. So just receive this morning. Just put your hands out in front of you. Turn your heart to a place of just receiving the blessing of heaven from God himself over you this morning.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phone. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas.
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN and become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today's Friday, 31st day of July, 2020. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. If you can't see the screen I have up, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds, and you'll never have to register again, in theory. Just follow the instructions. Now, what happens is you get an email every day, right before the show starts. It's got a link. If you click the link, then you just join the meeting. No muss, no fuss. That also gives you access to the chat box, so that you can ask questions, participate in the discussion. If you're out of the office, can't get to the go-to software, point any internet-connected browser to cfrn.net/live, and there you'll find a live, real-time simulcast of the show as it unfolds. We also stream live during the show on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. If you miss a show, point your browser to youtube.com/CFRN. You can watch the entire broadcast from beginning to end from yesterday, last week, last month, last year. Hundreds and hundreds of shows out there for you to enjoy. Okay? All right, let's open with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we pray today for a clear and united voice amongst all your sons and daughters in this decisive hour in the history of our nation, so that every trial withstood and every danger overcome for the sake of our children, our grandchildren, and all who come after us, that this great land will always be one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, let's go over the numbers from around the world. These are the cash markets, the indices, as they're called. Oh, I just saw a headline and then it vanished. Facebook will add music videos after deals with record labels. Let's see. In a company blog post, the company announced deals with Sony, Universal, Warner, Merlin, BMG, Cobalt, and other independent music groups to launch music videos on its platform. YouTube. He did it. He went there. Mark Zuckerberg is coming after your lunch. Wow. Everybody's got to be freaking out over at YouTube. I don't know. There's enough to go around, I guess. All right, here's the numbers. Starting here in America. The Dow's down 184 points. NASDAQ is up 37. S&P 500 down 10. Russell 2000 down 30. Now, the big mover and shaker there is the Russell. It's down 30 points, but that's 2% on the session. There's our man in the street doing its job again today. All right. Crude oil down a nickel, trading $39.87 last. Gold up $22, trading $19.88.80 last. Last night in the workshop, I said today might be the day we see $2,000 gold, and well, the day's not over. Another $11.20 would do the trick. Now that spot, where are we on futures? We just rolled forward to the December contract. GGCZ. So in the world of futures, what was the session high? Oh, we did it. That's futures though. That's not spot. We'll take a look at spot here. We'll do that real quick. It's right there. Spot high today, 1984.22. Okay. All right. Back to the numbers. So gold up $22, trading $19.88.80 last spot. That's a gain of over 1%. But high-ho silver up 80 cents, trading 24.17 last. That's a gain of 3.5%. Silver, after being asleep for a couple days, futures are not well. I guess futures are reflecting it to a degree. But here's what we had. We had a couple of $5,000 back-to-back alerts. For some reason, it's not letting. There we go. Now I'm scrolling. Look at these moves in silver. A $1 move in the price of silver, that's worth $5,000 per contract. Like this move here from $25. Here's 25. Well, there's 24. There's 26. That's a $2 move. 24 to 26. 10 grand. Got to be very careful though. Silver is incredibly volatile. So Silver up almost 4% on the session. Okay, in the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei posted a loss of 629 points, almost 3%. Shanghai gained 23, and the Hang Seng dropped 115. In the European markets at the close, FTSE down 92, DAX down 66, CAC down 69. So for the FTSE, that's a drop of 1.5%. For the CAC, that's a drop of 1.5%. That gives us a mixed day in Asia, red day in the UK, and thanks to the NASDAQ, it's still a mixed day here in the US of A. Let's go to Michael, get a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. After that, I'll be back. I'll go over all of the Concierge Trade Alerts from last night. I'll go over the Logic 247 alerts. We'll look at where we're at on the last 24 hours, and we'll also look at where we're at on the entire week. Actually, Michael, my microphone and my headphones are two separate things. I'm not wearing a traditional headset. I've got the microphone and the boom.
That's right. You got your
the thing going on. Yep.
Yeah, it was weird because it was like.
I apologize.
That's okay.
I
thought I was taking a break.
Silent. Yeah, I was so silent. I'm like, hey, anybody home? I was laughing, shucking and jiving.
I was right in the middle of a conversation.
I'm sorry. All right. You got it all right now. It's all yours.
All right. Here we go. All right. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage at CFRN.net, and right here on the front page, it says free 5-day trial. Click on that, and you'll be brought here to EminiTrainingschool.com. On this page, all we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number, and you can tell us your biggest trading challenge 101. So we can tailor 101 training just for you. And we really do the 101 training. I don't know how many I do a week. I've done in the last two to 3 weeks, I think I've done over 45 101 trainings. Hit the send button and you'll be sent a confirmation link. Once you hit that confirmation link, then we know you took the free trial, and we'll send you all the information you need to get into the live training room. Okay, now, today is the final day of July 31st, 2020. Today we made 14 ticks in the euro and 55 ticks in gold. So we're up $637 per contract. Today it took 5 minutes in one trade to get to the goal for the day. So that is the 9th day out of 22 days that we got our goal for the day on the first trade. And in the past month, there was only one day. Is that right? I thought there were two. Nope. There was only one day that it took more than the first half an hour to get the goal for the day, and that was right here. And on that day, I had technical difficulties. That's why it took a little while. Anyway, on the month, we're up $9,746. That's over 22 days, averaging $443 per contract per 2-hour day. And this actually says, you can't see the whole thing, but the number of days since the last time I did not get my goal for the day, 116 consecutive days now. Okay, on the year now, we're at 53,311. That's over 140 trading days, averaging $380 per contract per day. Again, guys, these are unprecedented times. 116 days in a row, I got my goal for the day. And on the year, I only had 2 down days. And on one of those down days, I actually got my goal for the day, but I gave it back because I had to keep trading. All right, let's get into what happened, didn't happen, and all that. We had some good movement here during the break, it looks like. But this is gold. This is gold. Greg, I'm not sure what you mean by that statement. It was at 12:08, so I'm not sure what you mean by that statement. No, it was put in obviously in regard to something Dwayne said, because I didn't get here until 12:09. Okay, our first trade on gold was right here. We picked up 10 ticks. That was the goal for the day. The next trade, we picked up 20 ticks. It put us at plus 30. We missed this one right here, which would have been break even. We missed that one, which would have given us some profit. We grabbed this one, which I could have taken a lot more profit in, but I only got 1 tick. Grabbed this one, which was a break even. Then moving along. We missed that one, which would have been, it would have been a very nice profitable trade. We grabbed 10 more ticks here to put us at plus 41. 3 ticks here to put us at plus 44. Now, I'm not covering the YBR trades as much as I probably should. We had blue on the YBR with an up close, bullish separation, it went up. Blue on the YBR with an up close, bullish separation, it went up. Blue on the YBR, we didn't really have the separation. Red on the YBR, we had bearish separation, it went down. So the YBR trades are a real thing, guys. Okay, we ended up with a break even here. We missed that one. We missed that one. Here we picked up, it looks like just 1 more tick right there. And then here we picked up 7 more ticks to put us at plus 52. We missed that. And I'm looking at the slingshot down here to see what we should have been looking for. And we grabbed right here just a few more ticks to put us at plus 55 on the morning session. Now, if you're looking at the YBR stuff, which, I mean, everybody really should be, blue on the YBR, up close, up it went, bullish separation. Here we had blue on the YBR, but we didn't have the separation. And here we had blue on the YBR. We did have the separation, and it eventually went up enough to get you stopped to break even. Then we had red on the YBR with bearish separation, and down it went. We didn't have the separation down here on that one. Red on the YBR. We really didn't have good separation here either, but it went down anyway on both of those. And that's all during the break. Okay, and that was gold. Now, I don't want to be too long-winded because I know it's Friday. And I have other meetings scheduled for this afternoon. Here we go. Okay, so this is the euro, and on the euro, on our first trade here, we picked up 8 ticks. We missed that one, and that one, all of which would have been profitable. Then we stopped out on this one to put us back down to 0. Red on the YBR, down close, bearish separation, and it went down. Blue on the YBR, up close, bullish separation, and it went up. Red on the YBR, down close, bearish. The next trade here, we picked up 4 ticks on that one, then 10 ticks on that one, and we had a break even on that one. That put us at plus 14 on the euro on the morning session. During the break, it looks like there was some nice movement on the euro right here, right here. Those are valid trade setups. The rest of it, you know, the slingshot was not right. Okay, on crude. Let me scroll back here a little ways on crude. Okay, on crude, we didn't do anything with crude or anything with the ES today. And the reason was the slingshot was not just giving it up. I mean, it was just not giving it up. Yeah, we had a couple of YBR trades, like right here. And right there, that would have worked out. But we just didn't trade crude today. We didn't trade the ES either. Okay, but let me go back and show you what happened with the ES this morning. right? Now, in the spreadsheet that I show you, that's only the trades that we actually took advantage of. That is not all the trades that set up, not even close. All right, so here we go in the ES. Now the slingshot's all messed up right here. It's not giving us anything. Right here we had blue on the YBR with an up close. It was just enough to get to break even. Over here again, blue on the YBR with an up close. Had a nice profit. Red on the YBR, down close, bearish separation. Nice profit. Blue on the YBR with an up close, bullish separation. But our regular trade setups just weren't triggering today. There was one right here for a short trade that would have been a break even. And we got down into, this is last week's weekly trading zone. We got down into that and it started to chop around a little bit, bounced off it several times. You can see. Over here, we had an up close right here. If I were to draw a trend line on it, now I was pretty much focused on gold today. And, you know, when we had an open house, so I was focused on gold and responding to everybody's questions. But here we had an up close above the trend line. That would have been a long. Here we had another one. It would have been right here, though. Would have been a long. You can see I drew a trend line here for this up close, so that pulled back a little and then it ran up. Now I was doing something else at this time because Odom, I think, said he got 15 ticks out of this move, and he wanted me to make sure it was a good move. And so after the fact, I looked at it. Yeah, so this is all during the break in here. All this moved down. Now, if we look, not yet. Yeah, just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. If you look at it on a larger time frame, you know, the market just got killed today. And right now we're down at last week's weekly trading zone. This is this week's weekly trading zone, and that's probably where it's going to end up, down here at this week's weekly trading zone. Okay. Okay. So let me go back here to the spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures. Ryan, I'll answer your question in just a second. You can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today we made 14 ticks on the euro and 55 ticks in gold. Put us at plus 637 on the morning session. Today it took 5 minutes and 1 trade to get to the goal for the day, and we took a total of 14 trades. So on the month, we're at $9,746. That's over 22 days, averaging $443 per contract per 2-hour day. So 1 contract, 2 hours a day, and I miss most of the trades because I'm training. On the year, 53,311. That's over 140 days, averaging $380 per contract per 2-hour day. Now, you know, our goal is to get you to be a 20 contract trader. And so if you just add, well, let's just say you want to add 10 to this, you know, just add a 0 to the end of that, $533,111. Now, there's no guarantee that you're going to do that, but you should actually be doing better than that, because you don't have to sit there and, well, first, you're not limited to a 2-hour window. And second, I mean, you're not sitting there training, you know, a whole bunch of people. So just to put things in perspective. Okay. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go to the homepage at CFRN.net. Right here, it says free 5-day trial, no credit card required. Click on that. It's going to bring you to this page, eminitrainingschool.com. Now, you can go directly to this page if you want to, but it's good for us to know the statistics of the people that go to the homepage. But anyway, all we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. You can tell us the biggest trading challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click that confirmation link. Okay, If you don't click that link, we don't know that you took the free trial. Now, Ryan asks, there's a little discretion needed to determine the separation on the cycle on the YBR. Do I think it would be possible to code a signal for correct separation? I don't want to complicate it, Ryan. The separation part is kind of a big deal. Now let me go back and illustrate. Okay, let's go back to gold. And you see this right here? Where we had red on the YBR, we had a gravestone doji right on the YBR. Now price doesn't have to actually hit the YBR. Okay, but when the cycle is going up really steep like this, even though this worked out great, if the cycle is going up really steep against me, I don't like to trade against it. Okay, that's pretty much my mantra, no matter what trade setup you're doing. If that cycle is going against you, you don't trade against it. Now every now and then it's going to work out like this one did right here. But what I would rather have is something like this. Now the color of the cycle isn't as important as it is to the trade setups that we do in the morning, but the slope of the cycle is. Okay, and if you can get in one, like I know we had one this morning. It was a short. Nope, not that one. If you can get in one where the cycle's the right color, and yeah, right here, this one. Okay, where the cycle's the right color, you get your down close, and the YBR is the right color. Those are usually really high probability trades. Okay, and if it's going the other way, it's all the same. If the cycle is the right color. But what I prefer to see is the green line pull away from the cycle. And the cycle color doesn't matter, but if you can get in one where it's right, it's unusual, but those are really high probability. Okay, like right here, the cycle had just turned a little bit red, but we had good separation right here, blue in an up close. And I made 20 ticks on this trade, and the YBR trade would have been from right here 1 bar earlier than what the trade setup from the morning session was. Okay, there. With that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. There you go, Dwayne. Sorry.
All right. Hey, no worries. Recap of the recap.
Today it took 5 minutes and 1 trade to get to the goal for the day. And
good job.
We were up $100 contract.
Okay. Up here on the screen, guys, we're going to do the recap of the alerts. Logic 247. The Logic channel opens Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. It remains open around the clock until Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. Futures trade around the clock. The criteria for an alert to be issued in the channel is whenever opportunity presents itself. We monitor the markets around the clock. It could be 2 a.m., it could be 2 p.m. So, Logic alerts are based on current price action, what's happening right now. The Concierge Trade Alerts are a little different. They're based on historic price action, and as opposed to being delivered as opportunity presents, this comes out as a static report at the beginning of each session, shortly after the Globex open, usually somewhere around 6:15, 6:30 Eastern. Those numbers are good for the entire session. We often see those alerts trigger multiple times during the session. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. Now, we are currently in week 104 of Logic 247. Last week, week 103, this is what happened over the course of the entire week. 121 alerts were issued In the logic channel, Concierge, a separate report. Out of the 121, there was 103 actionable alerts. 12 were stopped out. That's 12% of actionable alerts. That's not a typical number. What we have averaged over the last 103 weeks is 20% get stopped out. Now, getting stopped out is based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, and establishing your stop loss based on market structure, which is a 3-step process that I teach all of our new members the very first personal one-on-one mentoring session we have. Okay, so that's what happened last week. Now I've got today's recap, and that's what happened in the last 24 hours since yesterday at this time when we did the recap. We do the recap every day. I saved this little snippet. Those of you that use Telegram, and that would be everyone who is a passport holder, you can create private folders, right? And I just called mine MySpace because I couldn't think of anything else clever. And anytime I'm surfing the net, whether I'm on my tablet, on my phone, or on my computer, if I come across something that I want to look at later, I just grab the link and save it into my private Telegram folder. So I got all kinds of stuff in there. It's like my own private filing cabinet. And it follows me wherever I go on the internet because it's on my phone, on my tablet, and on my computer. So anyway, forget that part. This is the part we want to talk about. So far this week, from this past Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, up until 12 noon when the show started today, we've issued 116 Logic 247 alerts. 85 of those are actionable. Still waiting on 12. 19 never triggered. Out of the 85 actionable alerts, 13 were stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade using the 3-step methodology I teach for placing your stop loss based on market structure. So that's 15%, which again is not a typical number. Typical, average, over 104 weeks now, 20%. Okay. Now, I'm going to jump over to the Concierge, which are the alerts that are issued as a static report. These came out last night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. They're delivered in the Telegram channel. S&P, Dow, Russell, Crude, NQ, 10-year notes, gold, we've rolled forward to the Z contract, Canadian dollar, euro, British pound, and silver. So if you want to grab a screenshot of those, we're going to walk through them here. Okay. All right. So let's go to the S&P chart. We'll start off the daily chart. Okay. This morning in the pre-market strategy session, if you weren't there, it turned out pretty good pre-market strategy session because of what happened after the market opened, after the strategy session. And if you missed it, you can always listen to the archived recording. Price was sitting right up on top of the CFMA1, which I refer to as red and falling or blue and climbing. Occasionally you've got red and flat and blue and flat, but typically it's either climbing or falling. Okay, so we had a little red bodied candle sitting right on top of blue and flat, and we said price, if we're going to go back to the BBC, which is where we went yesterday, first we've got to overcome the support provided here, and then the support provided by the step line, which brings us to where we are right now, which is at, looks like, low of the session. Yesterday we reached all the way down to 31.95. That's where the BBC was yesterday on the daily chart, and then we bounced all the way back up. Some great two-sided action yesterday. Now from here, the market has two main objectives. One, buyers want to see this swing high on the daily chart broken, because we've got all-time historic highs not too far above. Sellers, on the other hand, would like to see this swing low broken right here, the low put in yesterday. That would put us below the BBC and would open the door for a move all the way down to around 31.20 and then down about 30.85. This green line, if you were in the room this morning, you know that's called the BBC, stands for Bull Bear Cross. When price is above it, we're bullish. When price crosses below it, I'll shrink it up so you can see it. So you're right here, bearish cross. Okay. Once price gets below the green line, the BBC, we expect lower prices. Once it crosses back above, we expect higher prices. Now, this area that was created by the bearish cross is the very same area that the market has been struggling to get through now for a couple weeks. First time we made it up to the area, we got rejected, and then we tried another session, pulled back into support right along these lows here. We made another run. We failed now 1, 2, 3, 4 times basically to take out that swing high. So the pressure's on to get back to the daily BBC, which right now is at 3,200. If we close today at, or if we close below today, then that sets us up for a bearish open Sunday night. If we close at it, or if we close right at the BBC or in that neighborhood, then come Sunday night, we could bounce just like we bounced yesterday. It's not uncommon. I mean, that's a very dramatic bounce. But when price comes down to the BBC, we expect it to be good support until proven otherwise. Just like when price is below and rallies up, we expect it to be good resistance, as it was here, as it was here. And we finally got through on this pass. The pullback holds more often than it doesn't. So the whole pandemic recovery, the leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, a leg, a retracement, then a big leg that took us up to this first area of resistance, which was based on this support area right here. This support became this resistance, and we fought for days to get through that area, which we did, and then we got up to the area that we were just talking about, the resistance created by the bearish cross. Now, everything I just explained on this daily chart holds true on the 30-minute chart, on the range chart, on a 5-minute. It's true of the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, all markets. Everything that we do is fluid across all markets, all time frames. When we go from one market to the other, or a time frame, one time frame to another, we don't change anything. Same indicators, same principle, same philosophy, same everything. Okay, so last night's concierge alert for the S&P was to be short 32.29. 32.29. Right here. $32.29. Now we just cruised through one of our triggers. We had a trigger here at 32.17. We put that out early this morning. So we should get a move that takes us right down here to this area of support at the weekly trading zone. But back to this, last night's alert, sell 32.29. Now, I said earlier, important prices, important areas are almost always tested. So here's what happened. The first time we triggered 32.29, we came down to this. Reason this zone is yellow is because it's from last week, but it's provided some great guidance this week, so I've left it on my chart. The others are this week's zones. So we came down through 29. We found support here at 25. So that's a 4-point move at $50 a point, $200 per contract traded. Support sent us looking for resistance, which we found at red and falling. When price approaches red and falling from below, it will often act as good resistance. If it can get through red and falling, then we expect the BBC to act as good resistance. But red and falling was enough. That sent us back down, this time through support, and we put in a swing low so far at 32.1475. The trade to target on this move is the weekly trading zone below at 32.11/12. On every alert, the final trade to target is always the zone below. So we've gone from 29 on this second move, 29 down to, we'll call it 15. So that's a 14-point move at $50 a point. It's a $700 per contract move. So the first move is 400, or 200, I'm sorry, 200. This move so far, $700 per contract traded. Now, if you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, and I explained that in detail this morning in the live training room. You don't just come in and trade 10 contracts. You start out in SIM with us. You put together 10 consecutive days in a row in SIM where you reach your goal in 10 trades or less. This shows you and us that you actually understand the methodology and the strategy. Our 24/20 blueprint then gives you the green light to go live with just one contract. Your goal then is to increase your account balance by $2,000. Now when the blueprint says it's time to add the second contract, you're actually adding the second contract with profit you earned in the market. And as you progress, each time the blueprint tells you to add the next contract, you're always adding with profit you earned in the market. If you don't have profit, you don't add. You book a mentoring session and we help you, we go over your trades with you and help you figure out why you don't have the profit available to add the next contract. So the first contract that comes out of your savings, from under your mattress, wherever you get your money. But after that, starting with contract number 2, as you grow your trading business, you're always increasing your trade size with profit you earned in the market. There's no smarter way to build your account size. Okay, so we know what happened on the short side. The long side for the S&P last night never triggered up here at 32.78. Also, this support we found at 25.26, if you look left, see that bullish cross? Whenever we have this type of a dynamic, it will almost always become on a bullish cross. When price comes back, it's going to be support. On a bearish cross, when price comes back, look for resistance. Okay? All right, let's go to the Dow. Last night's alert on the Dow. Be short 26,140. Okay. Sell 26,140. Now on this pullback, we didn't get quite high enough to trigger again, but the same dynamic. We had a lag, we had a retracement, price ran into red and falling, which acted as good resistance, sending us lower. So this first swing low from 140 took us down to basically 20. It's about 130 point trade at $5 a point. So 500 plus per contract traded. That's per contract. Once you earn the right to trade 10 contracts, then it's a $5,000 move. right? But for now, it's a $500 move. Price then pulls back, continues down. We don't trigger a second time, but you may very well have still been in this trade because we don't have an exit signal yet. Along with having the alert and having a trade to target, on an extended move, our indicators will print an exit signal for you that tells you the move is basically running out of steam and that you should consider taking profit. So the swing low here, 25,900. So that's about 240 points. That's 800 and change, $900 per contract traded. Okay. Now we're coming into support. If price can get through this area, then the next area that we would expect good support is down here at 257.55. So we got a double bottom on the 30-minute chart. On the ES, we've still got quite a ways to go before we reach yesterday's low. Okay, so still room to get down to this 3211/12. Okay, all right, so that's the Dow. Let's go to the Russell. Okay, all right, so the alert on the Russell. Short 1481. Okay. And the alerts came out at 6:30, so that's going to be 18:30. So that's this little candle right here. This is when the alerts came out. There's two sides to each alert on the Concierge. There's a long side, a short side. These are your lines in the sand. This determines if we're having a bullish session or a bearish session in that particular market. So on our first move down to the trigger at 1481, we got to 1480.2. So price was basically rejected, sent back up to the zone, back up to the BBC where we found good resistance. Came down again. Now this time we made it down to 78.30. So 78.81. Let's call it 79. It's about a 2-point move, $100 per contract traded. This last trigger took us down through the zone at 72, down to the zone at 52. And so 1481 minus 1452, it's 29 points at $50 a point. It's $1,450 per contract traded. For the 10 contract traders, a $14,000 move. But you got to learn to be consistently profitable in Sim before you can even go live. And you got to learn to trade one contract before you can trade two, and you got to learn to trade two before you can trade three, etc. Now, we have not printed an exit signal yet. An exit signal is when this step line, you see it's on the left side of red and falling. As this move starts to run out of steam, what will happen? At support, price will start to walk sideways. And this step line, instead of stepping over and down, over and down, over and down, it will step over, it will cross red and falling. Once that happens, then you're looking for the first green candle that closes above the step line. That's the market, the chart, telling you you should exit the trade right here. Okay. As I come across a good one, I'll show it to you exactly what it looks like. So that covers the Russell. Let's go to the NQ. If you have any questions, put them in the chat box. I'll be happy to answer them. All right, on the NQ. Last night's alert. There was a gap higher opening last night, as you can see here on the NQ. Apple beat their numbers, slated to become the first $2 trillion company on the planet. So last night, on the NQ, we had an alert to be long 109.45, which we never got to. My horizontal line right there, that's 109.45. Close, but no cigar. On the short side, 106.67, we haven't got there as of yet. 106.67. So you might make a note of that, because there is every possibility, if not probability, that we could trigger that today going into the close, unless things change. Things could change here at the weekly zone. This little area here of consolidation translates into a little bit of support here. The major support is down here where this bullish cross took place, right above this weekly zone at 105.92/93. So that covers the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, the NQ. Let's go to Crude. Crude's been a bit sideways. Crude, last night the alert was to be short 40.05. Get that out of the way. All right, 40.05. So the first move took us down to 39.96. Second move took us to 39.99. Price had a lot of difficulty getting through this area. It finally broke through during the 10 a.m. Eastern candle. We put in a swing low at 39.66. So from 40.05 to 66. It's about $400 per contract traded. If price can rally back up to the BBC and the trigger, we may have another move on the short side today. Although crude doesn't appear to be in a big hurry to go anywhere. Should crude reverse, the important number to the upside is way up at 40.95. I'd be pretty shocked to see that happen today. Okay, gold. Everybody loves gold these days. And the dollar's just, we'll take a look at a chart of the dollar in a second. All right, gold, the alert was to be long, 1983. There we go, 1983. From 1983, we ran up to 2005. So 2005 minus 1983. It's $2,200 per contract traded. Now over here we triggered again, but the dynamic of the market changed. Getting long on that first trigger Made all the sense in the world because look how far price is to the left of blue and climbing. Okay. Now here's an example of an exit signal. Okay. So the alert was to be long 1983 because getting out at swing highs and swing lows, that only happens by accident or by luck because you don't know it's a swing high or swing low till after the fact. So the step line, once it crosses over, okay, you're looking for the first red candle that closes below the step line. This one didn't go as far as we would like to have seen it go, but right here you've got the step line crossing and you got this candle closing at 1986 and a quarter, so that's $300 per contract traded. Now when the next candle, instead of continuing lower back to the BBC, when that reverses and gets back above the step line, back above blue and climbing, as you take out these highs, well, you're still anticipating a move that's going to take you up to this high, because what just happened shows you that the uptrend is still intact. Over here, the dynamic changes. On this trigger, you're below the BBC. Here, you're above the BBC. That's good for longs. But now you're below the BBC, not good for longs, because you expect this to be resistance, and it was pretty volatile resistance, but resistance nonetheless. And if you draw a little trend line off those highs, and that may be resistance on the move back up. The short side for gold is way down at 1966, so we have not seen that in this session. Last on my list is silver. Okay, let's open it up a little bit. There we go. Alright, so on silver, the alert was to be long 2409. Okay. Okay. Now, silver pays $100 for every 2 penny move in price. So from 2409 to 2411, 2 pennies, $100. Let me show you my new, it's not my new favorite toy, but I like showing it to you because if you've never used it, it makes, especially when you're dealing, because we trade everything the same. British pound, euro, Canadian dollar, 10-year notes, crude, gold, you name it, we trade it all the same. So you don't have to be fearful of a market because, well, I don't want to trade that market because I don't know anything about it. I don't know its characteristics or its personality. Yeah, you don't need to. Okay? The markets move the same. Leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, retrace until it can't go any higher. And then it goes looking for if you hit resistance, it goes looking for support. So now it's going to go leg, retrace, to the downside until it finds support. And it's going to turn around, head back up, and look for new resistance. Okay. Now, you just type in silver in this case, but you could type in anything. You could type in crude, you could type in gold, you could type in euro, but we want silver. Long. One contract. And the trigger was 2409. And the swing high, this first swing high, right here, 2442. Then all you have to do, once you've input your data, calculate. So that's a $1,650 per contract move. From here to here. Silver's pretty potent. Now, if someone stayed all the way into the swing high, which, again, far easier said than done. Let me get a price here. The swing high of that move was 24.53. So if we track that again, 24. So the entire move up is $2,200 per contract traded. Okay. So that covers all of the major ones. Again, this week in Logic 247. So far, this is where we stand. 116 alerts. Now, those were the concierge you just looked at. Logic, 116 alerts, 85 actionable, 13 stopped out. That's 15% of actionable. What we average over the last 104 weeks is 20% being stopped out. Now, let me show you what the Logic alerts look like. Now, these are the ones that come out live in real time in the channel as opportunity presents itself. That was last week. This was Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. We had a couple of carryovers from the previous week. There's my good evening message. And so our first alert came out 10 minutes after the Globex opened. That's Pacific time, you see up on the screen. I'm in Phoenix, we don't do daylight savings time. So 8 months out of the year, I'm on Pacific time, and 4 months Mountain Standard. So the first alert was the S&P. Thumbs up means we made it to the target. The next was the Dow, the Russell, the NQ. So think about this. Most traders are waiting for Monday morning, 9:30 for the Wall Street market to open. We're already busy on a Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. By the time the market had been open, by the time the market had been open 34 minutes, by 6:34 p.m. Eastern, we had issued 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 alerts that found their target. Okay, so right there in the first 34 minutes, 9 opportunities to get your points plus for the day. And then we had our first stop out on the Canadian dollar and a stop out on the Dow. That's the red X. When you see the Z's, that just means never triggered. There's Russell, NQ, a hedge on the Dow, gold, silver. And the way you read the alert, silver buy 24.37, initial target 24.39, potential resistance 24.50, and then your final target on this one 24.70. Okay. Here's an NQ buy 105.60. There's your initial target. That's where you might find potential resistance. And this is the final trade to target. WTZ stands for weekly trading zone. Stop out on the Russell, stop out on the Dow. Another ES. And that completed Sunday night, and now we roll into Monday morning, or midnight Eastern. S&P, Dow, NQ, silver, gold. So I won't call everyone out, but when you're on the trial, you have access to all this data. You can go through and look at each and every one of these trades. Now, we're currently at alert number 4,717. Over the last 104 weeks, that's how many alerts we've issued. 4,717. 20% of those on average get stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade. Now, these are alerts that were just put out this morning. Again, keep in mind that's Pacific time. This was a short on crude. This was an NQ we don't have a disposition on yet. Here's a Russell short. Now, the Russell was 1460 to 1453. So let's look at the Russell. Now, we already talked about the big concierge alert that triggered. But the alert put out this morning, it was either in the pre-market session or shortly thereafter. So that one was to be short, 1460. And here's another example of having multiple opportunities to enter. So from 1460, we dropped down to 1450, we call it 1457. That's 3 points, $50 a point, $150 per contract traded. Back above the trigger, triggered again. This time we made it to the final target. See here, 1452/53. And that's where we hit and bounced back up to the trigger. Important prices, important areas, almost always tested. So this is not unusual at all. Let's see, what else did we do this morning that triggered? There's an NQ that triggered. Let's take a look at that one. NQ. So on this one, looking to be short 108.39. Initial target 108.29. Potential support 108.11. And then the weekly trading zone at 107.61. Right there. So from the entry at 108.39. You get the idea. Sell 108.39. Now this one was given out in the pre-market strategy session. Gave the entry 108.39, gave the initial target 108.29, the potential support at 108.11, and then the final trade to target right here at 107.6. So 839 minus minus 761. 78 points. The NQ pays $20 a point. So this was a $1,500 per contract move. $1,560 per contract. That's what this was worth. And it kept going. And then it reached back up and it almost got above the trigger a second time. Now, just because it didn't make it all the way back to the trigger doesn't mean you couldn't trade it a second time. When you hit red and falling and run into resistance and you start painting red, you could re-enter right there because then your stop would be just above this trigger. You could be more conservative, let it drop a little further, and we almost made it all the way down to the zone below. Now, we never printed an exit signal. We still haven't printed an exit signal. So if we take the entry at 108.39, and we minus the swing low, 106.91. That's 148 points at $20 a point. That's the $3,000 per contract move, 2,960. This little move on the Russell was just 1475 down to 1473, just a 2-point move. It got there. We just looked at the Russell. And it was a stop out on the ES. Okay. That started the morning this morning. This was from last night. Hedge on the S&P. 32.48 down to 32.33. That's a 15-point move at $50 a point. Here's the Dow dropping 130 points. Here's the Russell dropping 8 points, $50 a point, $400 per contract traded. Silver, okay, similar to the logic alert. So what you should do is when the alerts come out at night, the concierge, you put 2 lines in the sand on your chart. It's going to help you develop your sentiment for the day. Once you hit the top number, then you're only looking for longs. If you hit the lower number, you're only looking for shorts. The Logic 247 will provide you with alerts that take you up to the CTA or down to the CTA alert. And then when you have a Concierge Trade Alert and a Logic 247 alert, two different methods pointing their finger at the same important price, important area, that's where you're going to find your highest probability, lowest risk trade setups. John's been under the weather, Mike B. So I was hoping he was on yesterday for a bit. I was hoping he would be. He's been fighting this thing real hard. So guys, do keep him in your prayers. I guess he can use them right now. Okay. So we've covered the S&P, we've covered the Dow, the Russell, the NQ. I thought Garrett might be going to pop in today. I missed a call from him yesterday. So here's the S&P. Now remember that trade to target was 3211/12. The swing low was 3212.5. Always remember, zones are an area, okay? Just like fibs are an area. Fibs print an exact price point on your chart. But we know that price doesn't always pull back to the 38 or the 50 or the 62 to the tick. Sometimes it comes up a little shy. Sometimes it spikes it. So always remember it's an area. Think of it that way. So as price is coming down into your final trade to target and it starts to stall before it gets there, you know, don't try to squeeze the final 2 ticks out of the trade and end up, you know, getting most of it back. Now, that said, we may not be done going lower. We still got red and falling overhead. We're a long way from having an exit signal. So this bounce, now this area here that served as good support, if we can pull back up to that, about the time we get to this area, red and falling will have probably dropped to that area. We go sideways or sideways to up, one more candle. So that'll create a spot where they interact right here. And from there, the high probability move back down to the zone below. You know, all these websites and emails that you get that promise you somebody somewhere has cracked the code, they can now tell the future. Read tomorrow's newspaper today. I'm sorry that they lie to you like that, but they do. When God created Adam back in Genesis, he gave Adam a lot of wonderful qualities. One of them's free will, and the jury's still out on that, I guess. But what he didn't give Adam, he did not give Adam the ability to change the past. He also did not give Adam the ability to know the future. Those two things are inextricably linked for eternity. So the next time somebody tells you that they know with 100% certainty what's going to happen next in the market, and that means they've outfoxed God. So I don't believe it. Now, well then what's the use or purpose of all these indicators and trading zones? What's that all about if you can't know the future? That's a great question. The zones and the indicators provide a framework that allows us to know at any given time what the market is trying to do, what its objective is, where it's trying to get to, and what obstacles it will find along the way. Okay? So from right here, we're printing a green candle. So as long as we're printing a green candle, that tells us that price is trying to reach back up to this area, which was support, may now become resistance. If price gets to this area, we then know that the next high probability move is to the downside. Leg, retrace, leg, retrace, another leg. When price pulls up to red and falling, if it somehow trades the other side of it, then we would expect resistance at the BBC, and price would literally need to get back above this zone for me to even start thinking about taking longs in this market. This green candle is not looking quite as bullish as it was, so if we take out the low of this candle, that would be about 32.14. Could you trade 32.14 to 32.12? You could, just keeping in mind that the last candle missed reaching the zone by 2 ticks. That doesn't mean it can't reach it the next time. And then I do believe we have an alert in the channel somewhere that addresses this window of opportunity right here. We would have to get through the zone. So probably about 32.08 down to 3200. Very nice 8-point window of opportunity. But here's what has to happen before that can happen. Price has to take out this swing low. It's got to take out this weekly trading zone. Then it's got to move at least 3 points away from the zone for me to feel comfortable enough to enter the trade. And then I don't see anything here at all that concerns me in regards to an obstacle or potential support until we get down to this area at 3200. Now, if it can get through 3200, the next support's at 3195. If it can get through 3195, then the next support is all the way down at the weekly trading zone, 3186/87. Okay. If you've been on the trial, you're ready to become a partner, passport holder. Passport holder has access to everything we do, everything we offer. And we don't have any upsells. If you decide to become a member today, you're not going to get an email or a phone call a week from now with the latest, hottest, newest, shiny object. We'll never insult your intelligence like that. When you go to check out, you're not going to keep getting these upsell pop-ups. That's just ridiculous. One price, one money. Come on down. Okay? We give everybody a week's trial where you have access to the live training room, our indicators, all of our alerts, live group training 2 hours a day, and unlimited, it's unlimited once you become a passport holder, but during your trial you even have access to a one-on-one mentoring session. I saw you, Gregory, in here earlier. I don't know if you're still here, but you and I were going to meet up again later in the week. I know you had sent an email, I think, that you had some question about the strategy, you needed some help, so let me know, and I'll be more than happy to try to help you out with that. So if you're ready to become a member, just call Valerie, 949-42-EMINI, or email her, support@cfrn.net. I'm interested in becoming a member. What's the deal? She'll send you the deal. Everybody's got a deal. It really is quite a good deal. Our stuff's not complicated. It's not convoluted. And by standards set by others, it's not expensive. It's incredibly affordable, considering you have virtually around-the-clock support. Most things you get involved with these days, whether you're buying some kind of software or whatever it might be, if you want help, if you have a question, you got to go to the help desk, you got to fill out a support ticket, or you got to send an email, request some help. With us, all you got to do is type your question into Telegram, and as I said, virtually around the clock, somebody will be there to respond, to give you an answer. If you ask the question in the middle of the night, if none of us are up trading the London market, then you'll get an answer first thing in the morning, as soon as Valerie's up, which I think is probably about 7 or 8 o'clock Eastern. So you're not just sold a bill of goods and then hung out to dry. 2 hours of live training every day, Monday through Friday. Round-the-clock support on Telegram. Unlimited one-on-one mentoring. Now, I know that there's some places that put on their website, they offer mentoring, but I have a lot of students that used to be their students, and they tell me that that's just really not true. We actually do offer it. It really is unlimited. Most brand new members will book at least one session a week with me. That's for 45 minutes. It's just one-on-one training. You asking questions, me giving and showing you the answer, because we use screen share and we use live charts while we're training. Some new members even book 2 sessions the first couple of weeks. And then as they start to, fall into the groove, catch the rhythm, then maybe then they meet with me every other week, or pretty soon it becomes once a month. The good thing is that when you need help, whenever that is, help's available. And you don't have to jump through a bunch of crazy hoops to get to the help. It's as simple as just typing the question into the Telegram discussion group and sit back and wait for somebody to answer you. If it's not me or Valerie or Michael, it'll be one of our traders. Because every one of our traders was trained by Michael and I. And our goal is to teach you everything that we know about trading Emini Futures. So these guys, they know as much as we do, depending on how long they've been with us. Great group of guys. Now, a lot of places try to, sell you on their services with all these questionable testimonials. Don't tell me that you haven't looked at some websites and read some of the really kind of super cheesy testimonials, and you're wondering, does that person really exist? Did that person really say that? So, not that we don't have testimonials, we do. And we've got a web page where they're posted, and just like everybody else. But we go a step further. We have a discussion group where if you're on the trial, you can just come and hang out with our traders. Ask them all the questions you want. Hey, how you doing? You making any money? Was this simple to learn, like they say? We never say it's easy. Trading's not easy, but it can be simple. And Michael and I have literally spent years doing everything we could to declutter our minds, our screens, and just boil everything down to the lowest common denominator. And I think you'll find it, if you've spent the last few years and thousands of dollars buried in all kinds of complicated, convoluted indicators, all the MACDs and the stochastics and the Keltner bands and the Bollinger and the advanced decline and the trend and the tricks, and boy, you're going to find this so refreshing, because we use none of that. I'm not knocking that stuff. I'm sure that stuff does exactly what it was created to do, okay? But we just don't use it because we don't need it. Because our performance from our methodology and strategy as it is, in its elegant, simple state, is sufficient. Somebody once said, "My grace is sufficient for you." It wasn't me that said that, but I believe our strategy is sufficient for you. The only way you'll find out and know for sure is to take the trial. Okay? So get a hold of Valerie. If you're ready to become a member, just tell her you want a price sheet, a spec sheet. She'll send that to you, explains everything. It gives you a link to make your payment. Okay? All right. Let's go to our good word for the day. Yesterday, we talked about spiritual supplements. And I talked at length about how much I enjoy the daily audio Bible. When I wake up every morning, today's episode, I've been listening to Brian read the Bible to me for years. He's got a great personality. If you spend 5 days tuning in each morning, and it just automatically loads into the podcast app on my iPhone. So when I look at my screen in the morning, first thing I see is new episode. Boom, I hit it. He reads me a little Old Testament, a little New Testament, Proverbs, Psalms. And in 1 year, spend about 25, 30 minutes a day. In 1 year, you make it through the entire Bible, cover to cover. Now, today we'll talk about confidants. What is a confidant? Let's find out. I know, but I'm going to give you a dictionary definition. Confidant. A person with whom one shares a secret or private matter, trusting them not to repeat it to others. Yeah, how's that working? How many times? I won't tell anybody. 5 minutes later, you find out they did. So, anyway, 1 Samuel 18:1. The soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. It hurts when you discover that not everyone has your best interest at heart. So you must learn to be more discerning and know on what level to interact with people. I mean, has there been anyone in your life that you trusted, that you kind of shared your innermost feelings, you kind of bared your soul because you truly thought they were your friend? And then somehow you found out how they really felt about you, not because they told you, but because somebody else told you, or even worse, you overheard them talking about you. That's a real painful experience. You feel very violated because you trusted that person. You gave them your confidence. They were, you thought, a confidant. It's painful. It's why you must be wise when it comes to who you allow into your inner circle. And if you've got an inner circle more than 5, I'd take a close look. Mark Twain said that if a man lives a normal life, if he dies with 2 true friends, I believe it was two true friends, true confidants, that you've lived a blessed life. Now think of all the people you meet over the course of your lifetime. And that boils down to 2. So, now maybe you're just a really nice person and maybe you got a lot more than that. Well, God bless you. But just be careful, because I don't want to see you get hurt. Now, we see this illustrated in the lives of David and Jonathan. David was at odds with King Saul, the father of his best friend Jonathan. Jonathan kept David's secrets and protected him with his very life, even when faced with displeasing his own family. Jonathan wasn't seeking to elevate himself, inflate his own self-importance, or orchestrate his own advancement through his relationship with David. Simply stated, they had a soul connection. They spoke the same language. The strength of a confidant lies in their silence. If someone's a gossiper, they automatically disqualify themselves. We must be able to rest in the security of these relationships, and this type of a relationship is very important if you're going to be an emotionally happy person, an emotionally content person. You need someone in your life that you can talk to, that you can trust, and that whatever you say under that cone of silence is going to stay right there. Most people, when they get some juicy news, man, they can't wait to find somebody to tell it to. I don't know why that fascinates us and excites us so much. It's like we're just bubbling over, man. Oh, I can't keep this inside of me. I got to tell somebody. Don't be that person. And it takes time for a person to know that they can trust you. I mean, we can tell them, hey, you can trust me. No, that has to be earned. And that only comes with time. But it requires that you be a confidant. We need the security of these relationships. We need someone in our life that we can talk to. Men, I'm going to say it should be a man. Women, I'm going to say it should be a woman. Not that it's impossible, but those kinds of things usually don't end well. So, we must be able to rest in the security of these relationships in order to express ourselves, gather information, and glean wise counsel. I mean, that's why you would want to tell somebody, is so that, number one, you kind of get it off your chest. You know that another person who you trust can give you their point of view. Because maybe you're so caught up in some situation, you're so emotionally attached, or you're so close to the tree you can't see the forest kind of thing. You need someone you can trust who will go, hey dude, you got a booger hanging out of your nose. I had to go graphic just so you'd understand. We need friends who will tell us we got a booger and not tell anybody else. Okay. In order to express ourselves, gather information, and glean wise counsel. Otherwise, we reap the consequences of having the wrong people know too much about us. Boy, that can be dangerous, huh? Ask a lot of politicians right now who they know Jeffrey Epstein and Miss Ghislaine Maxwell, they got the goods on them. And the way that Epstein's plane and island and everything else was wired for video and sound, man, the incriminating stuff out there, well, I'm sure that explains why he's dead now and why they're supposedly trying very hard to make sure that Ms. Maxwell stays alive long enough to go to trial. But why does her trial have to be a year from now? Isn't this important enough? I mean, we're talking about some huge human trafficking ring, children being abused, this network of pedophiles. Can't we find some way to just squeeze that trial in? Because every day that trial is postponed, or every day we have to wait, that's another day that somebody has an opportunity to take her out of action, or for her to take herself out of action. And it's not that I'm just, I want to see her punished. Well, that's not for me to decide. That's for the courts, that's for the law, that's for God. What I don't want is I don't want all this information that she has to go to the grave with her. We need to know what these people were really up to and who. Okay. All right. Confidants not only maintain our secrets, they refuse to exploit that privileged information for their own gain. In other words, they're not going to hold it over your head. They're not going to blackmail you with it. They actually care about you, and they don't throw your past mistakes in your face. They refuse to utter the words, "I told you so." How many times have we heard that? Such people are in your life for the long haul. Now, I'm talking about the confidant. You may only come across a couple in your lifetime. Recognize them and cherish them, because they are very, very important to you and your life and to your health, your spiritual well-being, your physical, and even physical, yeah, and emotional well-being. Because if you're sick spiritually, if you're sick emotionally, pretty soon the physical is going to catch up with it. So, all right, guys, it is time for the weekend. We will be streaming Elevation Church Sunday morning live from our living room to your living room. I will post in the CFRN Breeze Telegram channel an hour before the service starts. I'll just send out a message that says church starts in an hour. And then wherever you are, with your phone, at your desk, with your iPad, or we have the internet running into, as I'm sure most of you do, our big screen TV in the family room. So we have a pretty good view every Sunday morning. And if you've never heard Pastor Steve Furtick teach, he always delivers a good message, and the worship team is incredible. That song you hear me play some days before the show comes on, it's called The Blessing. It's Carrie Joe, her husband, Cody Carnes, and Pastor Stephen. He actually helped write that song. Beautiful song. So their worship team's incredible. And then he comes on for about 45 minutes, delivers a great message. So I'll send that out Sunday morning. Church starts in an hour, and then I'll post the link. And so the reason I'm doing this is that we can all, no matter what country we're in, what state we're in, we can all actually fellowship and go to church together. And we use the Telegram Breeze channel to just, talk back and forth. If he makes a specially good point in his sermon, just like you in regular church might turn to your neighbor and say amen, or boy, that was powerful, or fellowship. They've locked us in our homes, they put masks on us, we're not supposed to sing in church. I mean, the Bible says, forsake ye not the gathering of the brethren. So I'm doing the best I can to bridge the gap between me, you, and the body of Christ, and Wall Street. So, love you much. Thanks for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about Trade Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.